I often refer to Everyday Tai Chi by Lucy as having the three T's. The three T's stand for, in this order, teaching of Tai Chi, technology, and travels. So, teaching of Tai Chi is my priority, to teach people who are interested in all walks of life, as long as they have the time and keep their minds open to learn something new. And we continue to grow. Our students hovered around the Hawaii Kai, Aina Haina, Kahala, Kaimiki area. But to this day, thanks to Olelo's broadcasting of our lessons, we have students who come from Salt Lake, from Kalihi, from Manoa. It seems like through the universal language of Tai Chi, it has no boundaries. It's just a wonderful, wonderful experience.
At times, uh, there are unsolicited phone calls or stopping somewhere in the community where people recognize Lucille or myself on television, and some of them don't necessarily come out to our program, but they seem to enjoy it, or at least try to do some type of similar exercise in the comforts of their own home. And that is sort of gratifying to us that, we may not be able to teach everyone, but people are, or at least personally, but the information that we provide is being consumed by people under other conditions, which is very gratifying. It sort of helps reaffirm in our mind that we must be doing something that is useful.
So a couple of little funny experiences. We were at lunch one day in Waikiki, and this girl who was a cashier took a look at me, and then she ran around from her desk and gave me a big hug, and she says, "You're the one I watch on TV. I love your Tai Chi show." And that made me feel so good. And just the other day, we were at another luncheon, and this lady says, "Hey, don't I know you from someplace?" And I said, "Well, I'm a retired teacher." And she says, "Well, maybe that's where I've seen you. I'm a retired principal." And I said, "Well, are you in the Honolulu district?" And she says, "No, I'm in the Leeward district." And we still kind of scratch our heads. And I said, "Well, I teach classes at Kahala Mall." And she says, "Oh, well, what kind of class do you teach?" I said, "Oh, Tai Chi." And she says, "Oh, that's where I saw you, on Olelo. You're the Tai Chi teacher." And we started up a conversation, and that was just wonderful.
It's been gratifying for us to be on our journey, not just as teachers of the art itself, but as students who are continuing to learn, and as disseminators of this information over the network.
So I'm an elementary teacher by training. And of course, like in first grade, we teach our children to identify words, and that's the beginning of when they learn to read. And it's like teaching students of Tai Chi. You introduce something new, they are challenged by it, but through daily routines of practicing and understanding a little bit more, they take that big step and they start to learn. And with each little step that they learn, they gain more confidence and they try a little harder. I take the time to try to explain to them why certain movements are done in a certain way, why our feet positions and hand positions and our total body is incorporated in aligning just so, to prevent injuries, to prevent joint pains, and just to stay safe and very stable, and not and to continue to keep our balance. So this is like teaching children in that we start from the basics, we understand and lay a foundation and a firm groundwork, as to what our bodies can do, what our bodies should do in Tai Chi, and then we slowly build our movements upon the foundation.
I think one of the strong points probably is breaking things down to relatively simple maneuvers, trying to not overwhelm the student with a whole lot of movements at one given time.
Let's try it. Okay? Do it this way. You're on a T stance, left hand on the bottom. You're going to do the last portion of grasping of the bird's tail we're doing part 2 on the left. Out and to the side, ward off. Flip and meet. Pull down, pull back, sit back, look back. Turn, square first, contact at your wrist with your baby finger aligned to that bone, separating, sitting back, rolling up and forward. Now, apparent closing. Sit back, twist step, open step, in step. Shift your weight to the left as you put your right wrist on the inside of your cross. Come up, rotate your wrist at chest level so that both palms are facing. Using the power of your left wrist to push out, palms facing the ground, shoulder width away, dropping your shoulders, making yourself small. Wrapping around to the sides of your pants, up on your heel, off the ground, toe down, closing form. Okay? One more time. Left hand on the bottom to hold your ball. You're going to ward off. Out and to the side, ward off. Flip and meet. Grasp the bird's tail. Sit back. Look back. Turn, square, contact at your wrist to push out, separate, sit back, roll up and forward. Slowly, sit back, twist step, open step, in step, off the ground, right hand on the inside of your cross, pushing up your left wrist. Rotating on the wrist so that both palms are facing. Power of the left wrist to push out as both palms face downward. Shoulder width away, dropping your shoulder. Okay? So you can see that several things are going on. Whenever you do your apparent closing, your feet and your hands are doing the same thing. By that I mean warding off, grasping the bird's tail, turning, squaring contact, and you notice my contact is not hand to wrist, but the right side of your baby finger area is touching the wrist area, okay? Touching your wrist area to push, separating as I touch both palms, both hands when palms are down, sitting back. And the only reason I have to come back like this is because when you sit back, what happens? Your heels come back up and then roll forward. Now, I said that the hands mimic the feet. Sit back, twist step, open step, in step, off the ground, right hand on the inside, pushing up. Rotating at your wrist so both palms are facing at shoulder level, pushing out on the left wrist, palms down, closing, okay? Commencing form. Open. Take a deep breath in. Make yourself small. Center. Open. bringing it to your ear, turning your face, repulsing of the monkey. Center, open, bringing it to your ear, turning your face, repulsing of the monkey. T stance, multitask. Ear, heel, hand, face, catch that ball in the center, brush your knee. Sit back, twist step, T stance, looking at your left hand that's higher, L stance, multitask, brush your knee. Sit back, twist step, hold your ball in a T stance, part the wild horse's mane, L stance, here it is. Sit back, twist step, T stance, L stance, part the wild horse's mane. Flip and meet, sit back, twist step, cup, cloud hands. Middle or cup, open, middle or cup, only flip meet, middle or cup, flip meet, close. Middle or cup, flip meet, open, middle or cup. Only flip meet as you shift your weight, golden cockerel. Down, up, down. Right hand, right foot up, out. Left hand, left foot. Holding our ball in a T stance, right hand on the bottom. We're going to grasp the bird's tail as we ward off, flipping and meeting, pulling back, looking back, turning, squaring contact, push, separate, sitting back, rolling up and forward. Sit back, left hand on the bottom, twist step, hold your ball in a T stance, L stance, ward off. Grasp the bird's tail. Look back. Square contact, push, roll up and forward. Sit back, twist step, open step, in step, off the ground to embrace the tiger, right hand on the inside of your cross, bringing it up, rotating, pushing out, separating, making yourself small. Wrap around, and we'll end our class this way.